A kid's pet parrot learns the silliest jokes and starts telling them to everyone, creating funny chaos at home. The little girl was enjoying her day out with her pet parrot when suddenly she heard the funniest joke that she wanted to tell her mom. "Mom, come here! I learned the best joke today," she yelled as she ran inside. The girl could not stop thinking about the joke as she entered the house. She thought about how her mother would react, and she was right. Her mom burst into laughter. "Oh, my goodness, that is one heck of a joke," her mom said between laughs. The little girl was so happy that her joke had made her mother laugh. However, she wanted to share it with someone else. She went to her father in the living room and repeated the joke to him. "Dad, you have to hear this joke. It's killer," she said excitedly. But unfortunately, her dad didn't think it was all that funny. "Oh, that's just silly," he said without even looking up from his newspaper. The little girl got upset. She didn't understand why her dad wasn't laughing. Maybe he was just tired. So she decided to save the joke for tomorrow. The next morning, the girl was eating breakfast when her grandfather joined her. "Grandpa, I have a great joke to tell you," she said happily. And then she told him the exact same joke that she had told her mom and dad. But this time, her grandfather also burst into laughter. "Oh, my goodness, that is the funniest joke ever," he said through his laughter. The little girl felt on top of the world. She was so happy that her family was enjoying her jokes. But she still couldn't understand why her dad wasn't laughing. Maybe if she told the joke again, he would laugh along with everyone else. She repeated the joke to him for the third time. And finally, her dad looked up from his newspaper and asked her to stop repeating the joke over and over again. The girl stopped talking. She was hurt by her dad's reaction. She didn't know what else to do. As she walked past her pet parrot, the girl sadly looked at its cage. The bird noticed that something was wrong and started squawking loudly. "Polly wants a cracker," the bird shouted. The girl ignored the parrot and kept walking. Suddenly, Polly flew out of his cage and landed on the girl's shoulder. He kept squawking until she went outside. Once they were outside, Polly looked at the clear sky and started talking. "Hey, little girl, do you know why the sky is blue?" he asked. The little girl was taken aback by her parrot's question. She hadn't realized that he had learned to talk. Why is it blue?" she asked back. "Because the clouds are pants," Polly replied with a straight face. The little girl was confused by the answer, but she thought for a moment. "Wait, does that mean that the sky is wearing underwear?" she asked. Polly tilted his head and said, "Of course." "Why wouldn't it be?" The little girl burst into laughter. After playing with Polly for a while longer, the girl went back inside. She knew exactly who to tell the joke to. She ran to her mother and said, "Mom, you won't believe what Polly told me." She told her mother the entire conversation that she had had with the parrot. The woman burst into laughter as soon as she heard the joke. "Oh, Polly, you little comedian," she said, ruffling the parrot's feathers. The girl wanted to tell her father about the joke, too, but she knew that he would get annoyed if she repeated the conversation with Polly. So she came up with a different approach. She went to the kitchen and told Polly to go sit on the countertop. Then she called her dad into the kitchen. "Dad, come here for a second. I want to show you something," she said. Her dad entered the kitchen and noticed Polly sitting on the counter. "What's so funny about that?" he asked. "Just wait here for a moment," the girl replied mysteriously. She leaned close to Polly and whispered something into his ear. The parrot nodded and hopped down from the counter. "Hey, Dad, do you know why the sky is blue?" he asked. The man looked at the bird and replied, "Because it is." "Wrong," Polly said with a big smile. It's because the clouds are pants, he added. The man was taken aback by the bird's sudden outburst. He burst into laughter as soon as he understood the joke. Oh, Polly, you little comedian, he said, ruffling the parrot's feathers. The girl was so happy that her dad was laughing. She couldn't stop smiling from ear to ear. The family spent the rest of the day playing with Polly. They kept asking him questions just to hear his funny answers. Why do fish live in salt water? The girl asked. Because pepper makes them sneeze, Polly replied. That's not true, Polly, the girl said, shaking her head, but she was still giggling. Hey, little girl, where do hamburgers go dancing? Polly asked her. At a meatball, she replied. The man and the woman burst into laughter. They couldn't believe how clever their little parrot was. Later that evening, the family was having dinner when Polly flew into the room. Hey, guys, do you know why dogs run in circles? He asked. Before anyone could answer, he continued. Because it's really hard to run in squares, he said with a big smile. The whole family laughed at the parrot's jokes. Even the girl's dad, who usually didn't find bird jokes funny, was cracking up. After dinner, Polly flew back to his cage. The girl's mom couldn't stop thinking about how smart the parrot was. She couldn't wait to tell her friend about it. Over the phone, the woman told her friend all about Polly and his silly jokes. He's so funny, she said between laughs. I can't believe he actually thinks that the sky is wearing pants. The friend was also amused by the parrot's jokes. That's hilarious, she said. Tell him I said good job for making you laugh. The next day, the girl was playing with Polly when her mother joined her. Polly, your friend wants to talk to you, she said. The parrot immediately perked up and asked, Tell me a joke, ma'am, he said politely. The woman smiled and said, All right, Polly, why don't scientists trust atoms? Because they make up everything, she said with a wink. Polly tilted his head and said, Ace that's a good one, he replied. But I've heard it before, he added with a shrug. The woman was taken aback by the bird's response. Oh, well, what do you think of this one? Why did the bicycle fall over? Because it was too tired, she asked. The girl was trying to hold back her laughter, but she couldn't help herself. She burst into giggles as soon as she heard the joke. That's a good one, Polly said, flapping his wings. But I've heard it before, he added with a shrug. The woman was shocked. How did he know all these jokes already? The parrot had clearly been listening to their conversations and was using his wit to make them laugh. From that day on, Polly became the family's official comedian. They would spend hours just listening to him tell jokes. And no matter how many times they heard them, they couldn't help but laugh. Polly had a knack for knowing just what to say to make everyone's day a little brighter. And he never failed to bring a smile to their faces. Whether they were feeling happy or sad, Polly's jokes always managed to lift their spirits. The little girl was especially proud of her pet parrot. She loved the fact that he could make people laugh. And she knew that he was bringing a lot of joy to her family. She hugged Polly tightly and whispered in his ear, You're the best comedian I know, Polly, she said. And I love you. The parrot nuzzled his beak against her cheek and replied, Love you too, little girl. And as the sun set, they all snuggled together on the couch, ready for another night of laughter and fun with their favorite parrot.